here is the tensioner wheel, I'm gonna just call it for now. That would go right here. Okay, so orange side out, go right in there, and then we'll use this screw right here. Here we go, just like that, to screw it back in. Alright, so that works. Okay, and so here I'm removing the first screws. There we go, so remove this one here. Make sure we get that back into the right place. Just looking at that bolt up close. There we are. Alright, set that down here. Keep those together. This arm, I've got another one over here. Okay, so we got another one, right? So we got this one, and then we got that one right there.
Yeah, I think you don't need to get that one out.
Yeah,
you just have to change this one.
Only this one right here.
And that one, the bottom.
Okay, so we got this one right here. So I'm gonna go and loosen that one up. Got this smoothed out. Just gonna go and loosen it up. There you go. Just looking at the entire thing, we already moved this one right here. So now moving over to this one. There we go. Okay. This one out. There we are. And then we got this one out there. Okay. And so at the top here, that was loose, and then now I just got this one loose. I'm gonna go ahead and remove that one. Alright. Crap. There we are. Okay, perfect. Just gonna remove that one right there. Yeah. That's lengthy. Okay. There, you can see it. There it is. Huh.
It's long. It's gonna be long.
Kind of, but I mean, it's not even moving.
Alright.
Yeah. Let me see. It's like it's stuck in there. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Okay, so looks like we're having to unbolt this one also to move this bar out of the way. So we can get to this little screw right back there. You can see it. Right there, buried way in the back. To then loosen that up. So that's what I'll be moving on to here next. Got the alternator basically detached, not entirely removed yet. We've got a couple of wiring cables in the back here. I'm gonna turn on my flash so we can see it better. There we are. So we see basically looks like 2 points of contact. So one, and then two over here. So we'll have to loosen that up. And then also loosen this one up here. But the biggest pain in the butt so far has been this bolt down here. Once this thing is in place, it's very difficult, very challenging really to kind of get back here to this bolt. The thing is that inside of here and then also on the other side, so the front side of this alternator, there are no threads. So this bolt goes straight through, no threads, it's just a long bolt, looks like this.
How come there is here on this end?
Yeah.
Just the very end.
Yeah, pretty much just at the end. It's just to kind of hold it in place. And then the bolt would go ahead and you would tighten it on this end. So when you see it from the front side, which is this bolt right here, and you try to loosen it up, it's going to feel like it's just loose and nothing's coming out. It's not going to happen until you get this end right here, the nut that goes on this end, and hold that in place. Then you have to go ahead and unscrew it from this side. So it's a little bit challenging to do that, but all in all, it's manageable. So we're going to go ahead and disconnect these cables here and then proceed. Alright, so we've managed to get the bad alternator out. Here we are. See it? Is the bad one. Okay. And let's go ahead and bring on in the new one. There we are. There we go. Alright, let's see what we got here. There is the new alternator. I'm gonna have to go ahead and clip that little attachment there, so that's not gonna be part of the installation. But all in all, we'll be doing this procedure now in reverse. So we've gone ahead and now connected the electrical points here on the back of the alternator. You can see 1 and then 2. So I'm just gonna move that cap to show you. There it is. Okay, put that cap right back on. And this new alternator will come with those new nuts there. So now is to get this alternator, there's a gap on the bottom here. We're gonna have to put it right here. So this part right here. So we're gonna have to kind of wedge it right there. So it's gonna be a matter of positioning it to get right there. And in fact, what I'm talking about is this right here. So this gap right there. Okay, here's the back side. This gap. Okay, that's what's on the bottom of this alternator here, and I've got to match it up right there. What I want to go ahead and show you is that the alternator here is in place. See that it's been replaced, but there is one step that I didn't get to last night during this repair replacement, and that's this here belt. That's the serpentine belt, and then more importantly though is this right down here. That is the tensioner. And that tensioner has like a swivel arm that goes left to right. This here is what's going to get you to put the serpentine belt back on. Right now this is a pretty tight line. See that there? Alright, but you're going to have to use a tool to move this slightly over to the left. Now this for this specific vehicle, it's a 2001 Isuzu Rodeo, 2-wheel drive, 2.2, 4-cylinder. So this one here, we would use a tool to move that over to the left just a bit so that we can get this cable, the serpentine belt here in place. Otherwise, because it's such a tight belt, you're not going to be able to do it otherwise really. So let me show you what that tool looks like right quick. Okay. So you get something like this. It's basically a serpentine belt tensioner tool. Let me open it up. Okay. And this is what it will, for the most part, look like. Okay. And then let me take it out real quick to kind of show you what I did. Put this down for a moment. Okay. So here's the 2 parts that I used. Here's this one here that's coming from the end there out of this set. And then there's the long arm, the long bar right there. And we're going to go ahead and attach it. You can see the square there, and then you can see the square notch there. Okay. So now that I have it in place, see that? What I would do is, and again, this is before you put the belt on, but this will help you get the belt on, and it's probably going to be helpful to have more than one person like yourself to do this, but you can probably do it yourself if you maneuver yourself in some weird way. So here we are, and there's the tensioner, and what you're going to do is, now typically this will be disassembled, at least the front part will. You'll have the bolts off and all that, because that's how you get this cable off really, but you're going to put that back on. So let's see here. And this is one of the trickier parts of this entire repair. This right here, okay? You're going to put that back on. You'll probably do that without the belt because, of course, you're going to need this. This is what you're going to use the long arm, this here serpentine belt tool. You're going to put it on here. Let me show you. Okay. Something like that. Okay, so let's see if we can see it. Now I've got it in place. Okay. So what you'll do is you'll pull this entire bar, right, like this. you'll pull it this way, okay? So once it's in place, you'll pull it this way. Excuse me, wrong way. To the right, not to the left. In this particular instance, to the right. And what that'll do is, this here tensioner, this entire piece, you'll see it's mainly this part right here. It's like a little pivot. It'll move over to the left a bit, and that'll give you just enough slack to put this cable back on, back around all these other ones as well too. So you'll mainly be focusing on this one once you got everything else in place here. And so once that moves over to the left, it'll give you just enough of that space so that you can kind of pop that right into place. Make sure that everything's lined up. Other than that, that's going to be the trickiest part. And again, maybe another person might be helpful in this instance. I used a friend of mine, but you may be able to do it, one person as well. So that'll pretty much wrap it up, and there we are. Alternator.